We in Israel, we adopted a totally different attitude to the crisis. We are not sacrificing the future in order to save the present. We are giving priority to the future. We take care of the future in order to save the economy in the present. How did we do it? We gave clear priority to long-term plans, to longer-term plans than usually, instead of focusing on the short-range emergency situation. We took some steps, also some immediate steps, but those were very minor steps. For example, when in the United States, actually, there was a new budget every few months, because if you submit several $100 billion in an emergency plan, this is actually, the size of actually, it's almost a new budget, and so it's happened also in some other countries. We went to 2 years budget. The first 2 years budget in our history, the first 2 years budget in the history of the world, at least the history of the developed world. And the idea is a 2 years budget, this extraordinary, exceptional move in the middle of the crisis to give some confidence, some rest, some calm to the markets, to the business sector. Look, with the government, we feel so confident. And we are so focused also on the future and not just on the present that we are going for exceptional 2 years budget in the middle of the crisis, despite the uncertainties. Secondly, we came with totally different tax policy than most of the world. In most of the world, in the middle of the crisis, government reduced tax rapidly in order to leave more money, more oxygen to the economy to function, to people to consume, to companies to survive, not to fire people. But with a clear understanding that if you now reduce tax for 1 year or 2 years, later on you will have to raise it back and even above the initial level in order to compensate for the deficits. Because you reduce tax, you give extra money to companies, you invest more in infrastructure. In 2009, 2010, it's very clear that in 2011 or 2012, you will have to raise tax to begin to close the deficits. I raised tax in the middle of the crisis, mainly indirect tax, the VAT and some other indirect tax in the middle of the crisis for 2 years. When everybody reduced, I raised tax. I became under enormous criticism. But the idea was that I'm raising tax now, but I'm coming at the same time with clear commitment to 7 years tax reduction plan. But still more important, the idea was that future tax reductions, if they are reliable, are more important than immediate tax reduction, because the business sector is looking more to the future. We told our people we are keeping the ammunition, we are not spending all the ammunition now. At the peak of the crisis, we are keeping a lot of ammunition to the recovery phase.